And 3, 2, 1. It's Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And it's the new time for the new stream. And let's see, we got all kinds of things going on, but I think I'm just going to leave that for the moment and just shift the chair. Happy Wednesday. Couple things. This stream is going to be the first of the Wednesday streams, and on Twitch, I don't think I'm going to game as such, which means all of you just left, right? But you can still find me on YouTube. I will be doing game things on YouTube along with other things because I'm just more than just games. But today is about the recap of 4 months of doing this and what I just confirmed with a lot of research. Now, this is going to be kind of dry, and I'm going to break it into parts. And the first part is basically my position on Twitch after 4 months, okay? And when you think of Twitch right now, for anybody who's streaming, and that's basically anybody under 20 views, 20 followers, however you want to call it, we're 99% of Twitch, okay? When we think of Twitch right now, we think of the big streamers, and we think of DMCA strikes, and we think of the conflict between the top streamers and all that, and how 48,000 viewers can fight somebody else's 28,000 viewers, and we think about that top 1%, right? And we also think of a lot of negativity associated with that. And we have to understand why that's, what does that mean for us down here at the bottom? Now, those guys, negative press is press, right? Negative interaction is action. So if you look up Twitch negativity or Twitch fight, you're going to see YouTube videos by other Twitch streamers talking about Twitch streamers, which kind of begs the question, how is anybody going to see me or enjoy Between the Stars the way I do? Which means nobody's going to see that. No matter what I do, doing what I'm doing, no one's going to see that. And that also means that no one, if you hit the browse button on Twitch, and it's mine set to recommended for me, but if you go viewers high to low, and you click on, let's click on Grand Theft Auto. So the first guy is 52,000, the next one is 26, the next one is 26, and then it drops. You have from 26 to 11, and then from 11 to 6, and then 11 to 3, and then you're in the hundreds, and you keep scrolling down, and you're 66, and you keep scrolling, and 409, 372, 221. Here's a guy just staring at himself with 6, and you keep scrolling down, and you keep scrolling down, and you keep scrolling down, and how are they going to make? Or the question is, do they expect to make a living wage? Probably easier to go work for Amazon than to stream if you need money. Okay? So that's the 10,000 foot shot from doing this for 4 months. And then the other thing you think of is bans, right? When you think of Twitch right now, you think of DMCA. You think of people getting banned for using copyright, and you think of the whole meta of somebody just sitting there cracking on a TV show that they don't own. And you at least that's what happens to me. I think of bands and people getting banned and coming off a band, and how some of them think it's a joke, and how some worry that the hammer's going to strike, and what does this mean? And all of that is just churn and chum, right? For the sharks. All that means is that nobody's going to drill down and find us. Okay? Now, I'm going to keep scrolling at 59, 50, looking for our kin, right? 43, here we go. 36, we all know what that's like. 32, keep scrolling. 28, 24, 22, 20. This is just one game, mind you. And I'm going to give you some stats in a minute. 17, 16, 16, 15. Oh, brother. You know where it's going to go, right? You know it's going to keep going. 12, 11. And it's okay, And they are all competing with each other. So the 10 is competing with the 10, right? And there's a whole bunch of folks with 10. There's a guy, all the 9s are competing with the 10s, and all the 9s are competing with the 9s. Okay? So I'm here to tell you that what you think is going to happen just being on Twitch is not going to happen. And it's not because of you. And it's not even because of your content. It's because of Twitch. Twitch is not set up to let Marfordon 4 get anywhere. Right? Just like it's not set up for 89 Volvo with lasers to go anywhere. Okay? It is not designed for that. What it is designed for is the recommended channels, and look at all the folks in the thousands. It's designed for them. All of us are designed for them. Okay, so I have my little channel, but I'm gonna go off streaming because I'm not getting that emotional feedback. So I think I'll watch one of the big guys. Well, he just got another view, right? Which means he's getting ad revenue, right? And it's self-fulfilling. It's self-fulfilling churn. Now, and why is that? Well, it's all about television. It really is about TV. Why do you watch a TV show? Why is Real Lives of, I don't even know, Atlanta? Is that even still on? Real Lives of somebody. Real Lives of Utah. I don't know. Why does anybody watch that stuff? Because they're looking for somebody to crack on somebody. They're looking for that stern look, so the camera will give you that look, right? And we'll go, ooh, right? It's real life drama comedy. It's not any kind of content that you would go out searching for that's going to help you be a better lawyer, help you be a better mechanic, help you be a better gamer, help you be a better game designer. Twitch is not about that. We need to understand that this is about eyeballs and clicks and revenue. And all of us are chum. Okay? We're all chum for that top 1%. Okay? All of us are chum. If you look at the recommended channels on your Twitch channel right now, you'll see XQ, Hassan. I can't even read this other. Loti, Luro. I didn't even know who these people are. They're in the 5 figures in the thousands. Okay? They're about making money off of our eyeballs because we will watch the ad. I think some of them will even tell you, here comes an ad break, and they'll crack wise about it like they don't really want to do it, like it ain't no thing. It's not me, it's them. Or you can give me the subscription, and then you don't have... And you see how that works? And it's problematic. So that's Twitch. That's Twitch after 4 months. It's not about my content. It's not about my technique. It's not about the humorous aspect of an old man going on Twitch and gaming. It's not even about that anymore. This is about money and dollars and how we are all just chum in the middle of it for eyeballs. So you say, okay, what do we do? I like Twitch. I mean, I would like to be a streamer and have my game and people watch. So what do? I think the answer is to not look at Twitch for discovery. It's nobody's going to find us on Twitch by going to Twitch. Okay? No one. No one's going to find us on Twitch by going to Twitch. Okay? They're going to find us via other things. They're going to find us through Twitter. They're going to find us through Facebook. We're going to build an audience that way, and we can tell them to catch us live on our certain schedule. Okay? So, other things. And I think for me, it's going to be YouTube. All right? Because then I don't have to worry about anything except putting out what I find interesting. And people go to YouTube because they're looking up subject matter. And if that subject matter happens to be between the stars, well, guess what? I have a better chance of them looking at my version, my take on Between the Stars, as well as anybody else's, because I'm going to be up there with all the videos on Between the Stars, because that's what that person is looking for. Or if you title your video gameplay, and somebody's just looking for gameplay, because maybe they haven't been in games in a long, long time, so they Google gameplay and YouTube videos come up with gameplay, and there's a whole host of gameplays. And they go, well, RPGs, not so much. Oh, space games. Boom. Now they're looking at space game gameplay. And if I'm wise enough to create that title that says Between the Stars gameplay, well, guess what? I'm going to get discovered by that viewer, and I'm going to track views. And in reality, that's what is happening on YouTube for me. Okay? I'm finding a whole other world out there on YouTube who are finding me, and I am finding them. Okay? And I'm finding them at a pace that feels comfortable for me, and not streaming 8 hours a day and feeling like, Jesus criminy, what am I doing? So that's the big, that's another takeaway from my ramp up from September 12th to now. Twitch right now is an echo chamber. Okay? The same people who look at who is this guy? Clicks is looking at Miskiss, who are looking at Hassan, who are looking at Pokimane. They cross-pollinate. You are never going to get these viewers down to you. They're never going to come down to look at me with no commentary in Between the Stars, because I'm not part of that space. They're doing, I don't want to say incestual, but they're not creating new views from whole earth, okay? They're driving traffic from the negativity, and people want to figure out, what is Pokimane all about? Oh, well, she's getting, commented on by Hassan because I read that tweet. And that's how they're sticky. So Twitch viewers are sticky. They're very sticky, very loyal, and they watch a lot. That's why these guys can be on for hours, and people listen to their watch and chat within that space for hours and hours and hours, when if you walked in there, it's like, I have no clue, and nor do I care to know. Right? It's a different space. It's a different space. Okay? So again, that's the Twitch environment that we operate in, but we bought into, hey, you too can be this, and we went out and we set it up and we started, and then all of a sudden, what happened? We found out all these things, all these people somehow were in our channel that they were bots. Okay? They were bots. And they were scraping our data. They were scraping anything they could get from us, to determine if we were ad worthy or if we might leak over. So all of a sudden you started to get gift subs. If you just visited if you visited anybody with any kind of following, all of a sudden you got a gift sub. Wow, gift sub. They know me. I got a gift sub. And now you got a gift sub. And now you feel like, well, maybe I am on the in crowd. Okay, and then you give bits and maybe you can cheer now. Oh, hey, now you're in. And you're still not in because you don't know up from down, left from right. You don't know who's talking. You don't even know what the conversation was. But hey, I'm one of the family now. I'm on the inside. But they're not coming back to your channel. They're taking you and along for a ride, and then maybe next month you'll give them $5 for a sub, or maybe you will gift a sub because you really feel like you're on the inside. That's Twitch after 4 months. Okay, and I think that's Twitch for a lot of folks below, on any game. Scroll to the bottom, 1,000 people playing the same game, and they're all competing with each other for one more view. Because the thousands of viewers aren't going to find us. They have no reason to find us because we aren't the drama. We didn't call anybody a dirty name. We didn't talk about somebody's dad. We don't know anybody to talk about somebody's. We're not even in that space. We're enjoying a game and thinking, wow, I'm going to get people watching me play a game. Like some people's going to think this old guy is going to fly the spaceship and I'm going to see how he checks. They're not watching that. They don't care. Nobody goes to find no interest. Does that make sense? Nobody goes to find things of no interest, right? So we are of no interest to thousands, millions of streamers, okay? We are of no interest. So that's Twitch today. So what does that mean? Well, that means we have to use another medium. And that means we have to create better content in that other medium, whether it's TikTok or tweets or Instagram, where the quality of those bits, that little thing that we do on those platforms becomes the stick that says, hey, you know what? I was talking about science, and this guy's doing space engineers, and he had a question about real science, or he's doing Kerbal Space Program, and he's got a real question about the web, and you're on the NASA website, and you start a conversation. Somebody says, hey, that's a great concept. And you say, well, hey, you reply back, and like, hey, you know what? I'm playing this game Kerbal, and right now I'm trying to get that second boost. And this is what's happening. All of a sudden, you got a conversation. He goes, well, maybe I'll check you out. He goes, well, yeah, you don't have to find me live. I've got some videos up, and you can check me out on, but you can check me out on YouTube. Okay? Because nobody can find your videos on Twitch. Twitch is not discovery. Nobody's going to find your video from 2 months ago that you created a highlight. That's just not going to happen. Twitch is not designed for that. Okay? It's not designed for that. So, without discovery and all the stuff going on at the top, the thing to do is to really take a look at what other marketing pieces and see, and then it gets businessy, right? Then it's not the hobby in the basement, right? You really have to think thoroughly about how to make connections so people find you, can discover you, however you initially do that, so that when they do see you live, you are in your prime form because you have built up a body of work so that your live stream is kind of reflective of your comfort level and your casualness and your personality, and you can do your thing on your live stream. Okay? And if you can do that, then perhaps, but there's another wrinkle in this, and that's the numbers. The numbers. Twitch is actually 3 games, okay? And the first game is played by the top streamers, and I'm going to show you how they play that game. It's like, well, how did you do all this? I did a ton of research. I looked under every rock and stone to kind of figure out the whys and the wherefores and the whatnots and the whole business of how this thing works. From the Twitch perspective, right? Because that's what I've been doing for 4 months. And this is what I've come up with. This is my theory, my observation. Twitch is actually 3 games. First game is the top game, okay? And they're not making money so much directly from my subscription. They're making money off ads, and they get contracts. And these contracts mean they have to produce so many hours because they're running ads on those big streams like real TV, okay? And they have to create content, and they have to create churn, and they have to create drama, just like Real Housewives, okay? Because if you look at the folks at the top, they usually are just yakking and talking about things in the news. There's not content creation as such. You're not seeing skits. They're not putting on songs. They're not creating works of art, or they're not doing the stuff that you think of as content. They're creating fluff, stuff that's ephemeral, that's here today, and we move on. And that drives the eyeballs for the demographic on Twitch, okay? But we thought that they wanted to see this intricate war game, and no one cares at that level about your intricate war game, okay? So again, it's like every time I say this, I go, well, geez, that's why you put that war game on YouTube, and that's how you get the views. And the path toward monetization via YouTube is clean and clear, because it's really dependent upon the content and the subject matter, not about Rob, not about Joe, not about Mary. You know, it's about the content. And then they discover the author or the producer, and they go, wow, this guy's interesting. I'm going to click a like, or I'm going to subscribe, because subscriptions on YouTube are free, right? Or they come back, and you get that feedback that you have returning viewers in YouTube analytics that you don't get from Twitch. Okay? So I put together 6 things that I think really kind of reflect my position on this whole thing. And probably, as you think about this internally, maybe these are the same 6 that you already came up with. So you have to have a primary output source. It cannot be Twitch. And then it's learning how to use your software to create the content that reflects what you want to do. And so if you want to do long form, or if you want to do short form, and I encourage everybody to kind of discover what those 2 things are about. So if you can do things that are 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, you might be better at the short form. All right. I like to go long form. Okay. There's a space for long form discussion, conversation, observation on a subject on YouTube. There's space for that. Okay. There's not space for that on Twitch, because you know what you've put out there, that you got 0 views and the thing is like 8 hours long, and you know that you put out a 9-second thing that it's got like 83 views, right? The third thing is kind of reflection on number 2, is sticking to that style that you have, because we all have a certain style, right? We all have a thing. When we ride a bike or skate or skateboard or drive a car, we have a style. We might be 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, all right? Or we might skateboard barefoot, right? Or we inline skate with no helmet, you know, or we inline with every pad imaginable. That's our style. So if we stick to our style, we'll be consistent. And I think that's a little piece. I think if you look on YouTube, the videos that you find the most interesting, for me, it's Kings and Generals, right? I look at that, I look at, there's a Drockfenel, I guess, Drockniffel. He does everything about the Navy from 0 BCE to today. It's all about the Navy. And it's a certain way he approaches it. It's always slow. Or if you look at the guys who talk about tanks and armor, they do the same thing. They have a repetition that becomes familiar. And I know I can bounce into those YouTube channels. Pixelated Apollo is another one. He's got a style that I know. I don't care, whether I start the video at the beginning, middle, or end. I'm gonna get Pixelated Apollo, and he's gonna have that style. And it's Alex the Rambler. He's another one who has a certain style and approach to things. Legends of Total War is another one. These are YouTube guys. Okay? And that's how I got the bug even before COVID, was watching that stuff because I was interested in my old hobby of wargaming. And boy, history is a really fun thing that I could sit down and listen to history lectures on religion, the 1500s, the Protestant Reformation. I absorbed that. And YouTube allows me to do that. You'll never find that on Twitch, which I did not know beginning in September. I thought there would be a war game neighborhood, I did. I thought there was going to be a community of war games who played board war games, and they live streamed it, or miniatures and they live streamed it, or they played Matrix games and they live streamed it. That's what I thought I was going to see when I went to Twitch for wargaming. I didn't see any of that. I couldn't even find it. And if it existed, maybe they gave up and said, you know what, we're sticking to our niche. We're sticking to our game plan. So style I think, is a critical piece. The fourth thing is kind of obvious, is know the legal landscape so you don't run into any copyright issues. That you read the terms of service. All right. So now, like, I'm an old guy, and the first thing on my page was copyright. It's the first thing I thought of. I don't want to get in trouble. So I went out and dealt with that straight up. The music you hear is DMCA copyright free stuff, from a DMCA approved source. And I own it, and I have the licenses, and well, that's me. I'm kind of anal retental that way, But you have to know the landscape, the legal landscape, because the last thing you need to be is 23 years old, getting served the summons because you're being sued, and you have no money to deal with lawyers, and they can. I mean, if they want to. I think of the Napster folks. I think of the woman who had a bootleg copy of Eric Clapton in Germany, who was going to get sued by Clapton's attorney for like 25 large. She was scared witless until they backed off of that. But copyright and IP, intellectual properties is like how people make their bread and butter. And these are big companies. These are big corporations, and they protect their intellectual property. I mean, that's the big thing between the U.S. and China. It's a thing. It's not to be trifled with. And the world doesn't care. The government doesn't care. The property owner, the copyright owner, doesn't care about squashing those who would steal their property. And rightly so. It's theirs. They created it, and the law is the law. Until it changes, it is what it is. We have to understand that. Number 5, which is what we talked about. Use Twitch so that the folks you've developed from someplace else can actually see you. Okay? Now, that's not going to be right away. It could be right away. It depends on your content. But what I have found and this is the thing that really made me smile, was that my YouTube videos got folks to me on Twitch. And I'm going to talk about Twitch viewership numbers here in a second. But people are finding me not from Twitch. And they've always found me not from Twitch. My audience has always been a huge chunk of it from outside of the United States. So it's a big world out there. Oh, and number 6, we have to know, and this is the big one, and this goes back to the 3 games of my observation. You have to understand that no matter where we go with this, that the whole world is playing another game. They're not playing the game of let little 89 Volvo with lasers go out and have a little channel and express. No one cares. Okay? I care. That's the driver. YouTube doesn't care. Twitch doesn't care. Instagram doesn't care. Facebook Live. Nobody cares. These are platforms that are based upon eyeballs. Okay? And if they can grab eyeballs, that means they can have ads. That means they can generate money for their ad partners. Okay? And they don't care. An advertiser doesn't care about bad news as long as it's not like really like icky news. And Twitch is kind of like going into that icky space. So you got to wonder, would Coca-Cola, or we see a lot of Liberty Mutual ads, at some point are they going to go like, this is tarnishing us. We're getting tainted with ilk. Ugh. And will they walk away? And that's the thing about Twitch. It's getting into this space where the drama and the negativity, the misogyny, the name calling, the harsh words that people are throwing at each other is getting so much play that as an advertiser, no news is bad news, but this news might be bad news, and I may have to pull back. Now, what do I know? I'm just looking at it from all sides, why would anybody advertise in a space where somebody's calling a young lady a derogatory name? Okay? Why would I advertise in a space where the lowest common denominator is the gutter with belches and farts, At some point the brand says, you know what, I'm cleaner than that. I have moms buying my product. I don't need this, So that's my worry, in the long term about sticking around Twitch. Okay? Now here come the numbers, man. This is going to blow your mind. Okay? There are 17 million streamers per month. Or excuse me, not streamers, 17 million streams per month. 89,000 channels. The average number of viewers is 2 million. So that means there's 22 streams per every viewer. Okay? Let me say that again. And I'm going to tell you the websites to go, and you can check it out yourself. But roughly 17 million streams per month. 89,000 channels, average of 2 million eyeballs looking at those channels. So you have 22 choices for every one set of eyeballs. Okay? That's on Twitch. YouTube. YouTube has 350 million daily active users. 2.3 billion worldwide. 62% of the United States looks at something on YouTube per day. Okay? 62% of the United States looks at YouTube per day. And one of the bits of research I uncovered was a guy named Devin Nash. and he quoted, he said something to the effect of, "You have a better chance of standing with a sign on a busy street corner, yelling out your name." Again, you have a better chance of drawing viewers to your Twitch channel by having somebody stand on a corner, a busy corner, just yelling out your Twitch name, your Twitch channel, than you have on somebody finding you and your passion on Twitch. That's nuts. Am I right? That's crazy. Okay? That's crazy. And then it gets worse because of a couple, three things, man. This is, and you can go to Devin Nash. You can check out his website. He's got all the numbers. But the top, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but the top streamers share 25% of the same viewers. Okay? The top streamers share 25% of their audience. Okay? Another third are view bots. Now, in any active moment, these bots, they might have let them go, or they still might be there. But, and it's all quasi A-okay. It's called embedding. And again, I want you to go, I'm going to give you some search terms at the end of this so you can do the same discovery I did. But embedding allows someone to capture views from outside of Twitch, but they count as views in Twitch. So these numbers are kind of jinky. Okay? And then there's a story about last April where Twitch got rid of 7.5 million bots. 7.5 million bots. And somewhere in my research, I think they said 10 to 20% of all the people supposedly logged in are bots. So you can't even trust the success of some of the folks who obviously have thousands and thousands of views. And then if you kind of think it through, like if I do this embed thing at 5,000 views, let's say I organically get to 2,500 and I start doing this embed thing, which is, you know, it's legit. Evidently Twitch does it too. They embed in the recommended carousel, so that anybody we look at on that carousel counts as a view, even though we didn't go to their site. So if I'm at this level and I do this embed thing, and then because my video is embedded in a site, my Twitch stream is embedded in a site outside of Twitch, they count as views, and all of a sudden I go from 2,500 to 8,000 views because the site I'm embedded in is getting 100,000 hits a day. We have no chance if that's the game that they're playing. We have no shot. Literally no shot. Everything is pointed to those folks at the top who aren't even doing what you're doing, which is passionately playing a title from beginning, middle to end, or discovering a title and sharing that joy. It's a different game. Now, I'm not knocking these guys. It's just a different space. And I don't think anybody tells anybody who thinks that, hey, I'm gonna live stream, that the world's gonna be different because I'm doing it. No, man, nobody's gonna find you, okay? Because it's a different game. So if we have shared viewership at the top and we have another percentage of bots, the true number of viewers is probably, in my opinion, I'm gonna say conservatively, a third of all the numbers you see, okay? And then how many of those were gifted subs, like I was mentioning before? who got kind of roped in because you want to be on the in crowd, you want to be on the know. You follow them on Twitter and you're in their Discord, and now you're part of the crew. And now you're subbing because you got like a month sub. You can see how it just kind of churns itself. And so you could be the most innovative, funniest individual, but if you're not playing that game, you're boom, you're done. That's Twitch. It's very closed. Nobody's going to break into the top. No one's going to rocket from one viewer. You're going to end up, someone of these guys is going to reach down and literally pick you up and bring you, and their viewers are going to think you're part of the in crew, and they're going to bring you, and you're going to launch that way. It's not going to be done any other way. It's not going to be, it can't be done any other way, because nobody goes looking for stuff that they're not interested in. Okay? And if you're not out, doing something extravagant or doing something that the cool kids think is cool, nobody's going to find you, right? If you're not dressed, I mean, it's almost clannish, you got to wear the knit cap, you got to wear the wide brim baseball cap, you have to dress and look like them to be accepted by them. You have to speak their language. And how many people know the acronyms? All I know is not safe for work. That's all I know. But there's a zillion of them. So if you're not in the cool kids club, and even if you are, if they think you're a dweeb, they're not gonna. It's high school. It's not even high school. It's some other foreign space. So it's not about quality. It's not even about quantity. It's a built-in ecosystem that is already up and running, and here we come, part of the 20, what is it? Do I even want to say that number again? 17 million streams, 89,000 channels. I'm one of 89,000 channels. 89,000 channels. How is anybody going to look for anybody with 89,000 channels? It's amazing if you think about it. If you have one viewer in this space, that is flat out amazing. If you have one true subscriber, one true follower, that's incredible. And if you go from 1 to 2, that's a 50% bump. That is amazing. Considering it's like literally finding a needle in a haystack. So it's amazing. I have something like 2,400 views since September 12th. Every one of those views was flat out amazing to me. Considering there are 17 million streams a month. It's crazy. So we small viewers, we're toast, okay? They're not going to find us on the recommendations. They're not going to find us because it goes high to low. And if you scroll through, it takes forever to get to the bottom on one game. So think if you're just chatting, there's like 400,000, cameras on, or 400,000 people looking at just chatting. So how is anybody going to find you just the idea of anybody in the last 6 months coming off the street with a camera and a notion and a concept without this kind of background, thinking that somebody's going to find you, and all you get on YouTube videos is work harder, be better, don't give up. It's madness. They're telling you a story that is not true. They're telling you an illusion. They're telling somebody to work harder, be better. Nobody's going to find the guy who's working harder and being better because it's physically impossible to find you. And if you changed games from day to day, the folks who thought you were good at Grand Theft Auto but did not follow, how are they going to find you again? You're banking on somebody finding you and then hitting that follow button. It's not about you chatting and engaging. That's bullshit. It's impossible for this young man, Mar For Don For, who's Portuguese. If I don't hit his camera and then hit follow, I will never remember who he is. It's not going to come up in my recommended channels. He's not going to come up in my follows. How am I going to find him again? He's gone. Poof. So I want everybody to remember a couple things before we move on. That Twitch viewers are very loyal. They watch on average 105 minutes. Some will watch for hours. And they are very sticky. They stick. They don't bounce. Okay? So these folks in this group up here at the top, they're sticky as all get out. They're sticky and all get out. And think about this. When they go off, what do? They run raids. They send all their viewers over to another channel. Right? They're not sending those folks down to you at 1 view or Marfordon at 8. They're not going to send them to... They don't know them from Adam. They couldn't if they tried. They would get so... I'm not going to scroll all the way down. Fuck that. They're going to hit the guy who's got 150. He might be the beneficiary. Okay? Or they might, I don't know, on a lark, 4 viewers send 50 subs to Samuel Francis. Okay? And he's the lucky winner today. Right? So all of a sudden he's got 50 subs. He's like, what? It's crazy, right? It's luck. It's random. So the next bit is the websites I want everybody to check out. Now, you would think I would put these up so you could see it, but you are all so smart, especially the folks who look at my videos after the fact. You 2,300, because I'm only speaking to you guys, and anybody else who follow me, I'm happy to have you, but you have to kind of think it through, that the folks who always tune in, and here's another key thing, we have viewers who are not logged in, that don't count. And that's how I've gotten all these views and contacts from my YouTube channel. Because people don't have to log into Twitch. Right now, I'm not logged into my Twitch, and I've got cameras up, and I can click on look. It's not going to count for this person that he got a view because I'm not a logged in viewer. So he's not going to get a registered view. Okay? So there are anywhere from 7 to 12%, 7 to 10%, 5 to 10% of folks who don't log in. Okay? Who don't log in. Who are looking at your channel. You didn't know that. That's pretty wild. So here are the websites. Oh, before I do the websites, I want to talk about this game of the bots again. Because what the view bots do, and the embedding does, and these websites that I'm going to give you will let you show who's got fake views. Where it just doesn't add up, where they don't have the number of logged in viewers as what, the number of logged in viewers doesn't match up with what's showing on your screen. And that's how you know that there's a chunk of them that are fake or are bots. Sully Gnome, SULLYGNOME, sullygnome.com, twitchtracker.com, and streamhatchet.com. Streamhatchet.com, twitchtracker.com, and sullygnome.com. So those 3 websites will let you see statistics that are compiled and scraped from Twitch that'll show you a lot of information that will crush your soul if you're down here like we all are, if you are exclusively to Twitch. And then there's another one that's really, really unique. It's t.3v.fi/chatters. Okay, let me repeat that. t.3v.fi/chatters. And what that does, it'll give you a count of every logged in viewer per stream. And then you can see the difference. The difference are the bots. Those are the fake views. Okay? Those are the fake views. Now, this is all not illegal because Twitch can't find out, because this technique, you could use in a negative way, and people have, and Twitch sued people for doing that, because they were doing it in a negative way, and they were trying to show illegitimacy of a small streamer who went from one that they didn't like, and all of a sudden he had a gazillion views, and they screamed, "Oh, this guy's cheating!" And found out that the folks who were screaming that, now I don't have all the details of the case, but it's they used it in a negative fashion, and they got busted, they got sued, they got in trouble. But if you do it neutrally, and do the embed thing, which again is legal, then all of a sudden you're going to have this gap, and you will go from 0 to hero, and then people will see, oh, you must be one of the boys, and they will kind of glom on because everybody wants to be part of the win, right? And then you can give out subs, because you'll be a partner then, and then you'll be the big man on campus giving out subs, which will drive more traffic, which kind of demonstrates padding, and it demonstrates the fake numbers on Twitch. It creates this race to the top. Now, these guys are all very, very good at what they do. These guys and gals are all very, very good at what they do at this point. They're pros. They have managers. You know, they have teams. They have IT staff. They know exactly what they're doing. So they know how to massage and pull back, you know, the bots because they've gotten enough raw traffic, right? And all of a sudden, it's not all of a sudden, but they have the skill set to exploit these gaps in coverage to make big plays. Okay? And then if you toggle in the trading of audiences, boy, it really is like they're all on the same team at the top. You know, they're not competing. I'm competing, you're competing, they're all on the same team at the top. You know, with their boot on the neck of everybody else. You know, it's not the evil corporations. It's really not. It's not the evil corporations who are like putting the DMCA strikes and not letting you be free. It's not them. It's the nature of Twitch that's doing that. Okay? That's what it is. That's how it started. And I mean, if you're Twitch, you got to have ad revenue, right? You know, it's a billion-dollar company. They got investors. You know, they're owned by Amazon. They cannot be screwing this up. They have to drive. So who are you going to drive with? You're going to drive with me? 3 views? You know, 2,300 views? Heck no. I can't make that business decision to have them follow me. That would be foolhardy. I have to drive where the action is. I have to drive where the eyeballs are. And so if you drive where the eyeballs are, you're going to have this feasting at the top. And if you have lax rules, or if you have gaps in coverage, and folks know how to exploit that and not run afoul of terms of service, well, guess what? somebody's going to have 21,000, 83,000, 43,000 views, regardless of the content. That's how they can get lazy. Okay? And then on top of it, you have to understand that they're on a contract and they have to do 200 plus hours a month. It's like a real job, right? That's what, 160 hours a month is 40 hours a week, right? 4, 8, 12, 16. If they've got 200 hours a month, that's, it's a job and a bit, right? That's content. At some point, you run out of content, and all of a sudden, metas, emerge. And you could say, well, maybe they're colluding. You can't collude. They're not a structural thing like a league that's colluding. They're trading ideas. And if those ideas stick with their fans, they're going to do it. Because it must be awfully exhausting to produce 200 hours of content a month. Okay? Despite the money. Okay? If you can almost imagine that if I'm getting that kind of money, that kind of financial reward from this, I have to put my content out. But at some point after 6 months of that, 4 months of that, 9 months of that, year and a half of this, you get played. I mean, emotionally, you don't see situation comedies or TV shows run brand new episodes every day of a month. So one could imagine every DMCA strike that a big streamer would have is because they're taxed. What else are they going to do at this point, right? They've set their hair on fire. Maybe not that. They've played with the dog. They've had unannounced visitors. They've had fights on cam. They've called each other names. They've watched somebody else's copyrighted material. Maybe they played a game with some passion and some interest that really got them started. But at some point, there's a limit of creativity that I'm certain they all must reach if they're doing this day after day. So you can't really tee them up. That's the Twitch space. But they are getting rewarded for that. And this ecosystem also prevents you. Well, maybe prevent is a hard word, but it also creates a barrier for somebody who is a low or medium or small, not low. Not going to say low. I'm going to say a beginning streamer. Okay? Mid streamer. 200 views, 50 views, 100 views. Because remember, 90% of us are in below 50. Right? 17 million streams, 1% are making bank. And it's probably not even 1%. It's probably a sub of 1%. It's probably such a tiny. Of the 89 channels, maybe 1% of the channels are that would be reflective, right? That would be 890 channels. Yeah, probably about right. 890 channels make bank. That makes sense. 10% would be 8,900. So 8,900. Probably bringing home a couple $100 a month from Twitch at minimum, at the low end, on up. 8,900 out of 89,000. The rest of us, I think the average is like $40 at it's probably even less now. So that's the space we're operating in, folks. I mean, it's hard. So if that's the space we're in, and sites like Reddit and I guess mostly Reddit, where the conversation happens offline that kind of reinforces the drama, boy, you really have no shot. Because how do you get into a Reddit community? Because you will be bird dogged just as a noob in a Reddit community and in a Discord community. Because that happened to me in Discord that I talked about on my last stream. So there really are little doors you must open if this is the space you want to operate in. You have to reach out and and do something with these guys to get them to think that you're one of the cool kids, for them to reach out and bring you into the, into the back room, so to speak, and give you the skinny on how this whole thing works, And then I have to think at some point there's a financial trade. I have no knowledge of any of that, but I just have to think that there has to be a quid pro quo. Nobody's doing this for altruistic reasons. I firmly, if you're in a position to leverage your size and somebody, you're not going to give it away for free, right? No one else does that in business. Tesla isn't giving away any secrets for free, right? Google certainly isn't giving anything away for free. Amazon's not giving anything away for free. If they do, it's because you bought a whole bunch of other shit that they'll give you something for free. But nobody's giving anything away, right? The only thing I can think of that's given away for free is a YouTube subscription. It's weird. So, so YouTube. YouTube is about discovery, okay? It's about subject matter. And your passion in that subject is the driver, okay? That's how a guy who does knitting can have 500,000 views in one video, right? Or somebody who, the banjo player who played his banjo for the Fox, right? That's human interest, right? That's how he can get, rewarded for that, because that's cool, right? I mean, there are so many things on YouTube that, as you think about it, that you can start to eliminate the garbage. If you don't want to listen to Lindsey Graham or Tucker Carlson, if you don't want to listen to them, you don't have to on YouTube. You can eliminate that from your search. YouTube will learn what you like. It's not like Facebook where you have to literally go. Facebook literally just puts so much junk on your page that you have to get rid of them. And they don't even say get rid of, they say hide content. When you really want to say, fuck this guy. I don't ever want to see this asshole again. This is not what I want to look at. Regardless of your own ideology, if you're a Republican and you're getting Democratic talking points, but you don't know how to get rid of it, it drives you nuts. And if you're a Democrat and you're getting Republican talking points, it drives you nuts. And if you're a conservative, you're getting liberal talking points. And if you're a liberal, Facebook drives you nuts. Facebook is about driving people nuts so they click. See, it's all about, it's not about, nobody cares about your feelings. Okay? No one cares about you having hurt feelings. They want you to click almost in negativity and anger, because that means you're going to drive to a space where you're going to be happier, and which clicks, which means they're going to show you an ad before you get to your happy place. And that's how they make money. And that's how you can be a YouTube content creator for free because of ads. Okay? And that's how you can go Facebook Live. Okay? And they'll just put people on your stream, man. They'll just send people to you in Facebook. But they'll drive you nuts, because nothing is free, right? You got to see ads, right? So YouTube for me has been about discovery, okay? And it has instructed me more and more on the quality of video editing, which Twitch I don't think even thinks about, because it's a live stream and they're going to keep it and it's going to go in your VOD, and you're going to have to tell people not to look at it or take it off or unpublish it, right? So it's a completely different space again. Completely different space. It's not about discovery. So to kind of wrap this up here, because I'm at my 1 hour mark, YouTube is about discovery of subject matter. which means if you get good at creating content in your subject, in your passion area, you will be something that's going to be fun to watch for someone in that area. And even if you don't have the best edits and the best video, but it's cogent, it's solid, you used OBS, I mean, that's as simple as it gets, people interested in that subject are going to be more exposed to that and more likely to click on that than they are in Twitch. So that's Twitch, and that's YouTube, and that's 4 months of streaming. Thousands of hours, a couple thousand, right? A couple thousands of hours, many, many days. Going for partner before I understood. Hitting achievements before I understood. And it all meant nothing. It all meant absolutely nothing, you know? Because my demographic, me with the graying receding, right? Look at that. That's not any of these folks up here. That's none of them. Okay? That's none of them. And I'm not interested in Grand Theft Auto as a game. You know, I own it. But it's like, for me, it's last year. That's not, I don't know why people are interested. They are. It's a violent game. Most games are violent, but this one's like in the street, and kids are playing Grand Theft Auto in the street. Literally, every car theft in a major city, the kid is playing Grand Theft Auto in real life on a dare. I dare say, because they're all kids. They're not 43-year-old men stealing cars. They're not 37-year-old men, father of two, stealing cars. They're 16, 14, 13. They're not even 19. They're children stealing cars at gunpoint or at knife point. They're playing Grand Theft Auto in real life on a dare. But, so let's play that. So that's me being a dad, okay? League of Legends I don't play. Player Underground Pug, I don't even know how to say that. I don't play that either. I'm a war gamer, a strategy guy. Expanded chess, if you will. Real-time strategy. Even if you look at Matrix games or Slytherin, when they broadcast in the hundreds. Right? They're never in the thousands and thousands of views. And I was like, this is a game company. How are they not? They must have sold thousands and thousands of titles, right? Well, Twitch is very, very small, right? It's small compared to YouTube. So when you look at a Slytherin or a Matrix video on YouTube, there's hundreds of thousands of views. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Like-minded people can go find subject matter. They don't have to find personalities. They can learn and have great moments of discovery that will further their own knowledge. Like if you're studying German like I am on Duolingo, there's any number of things I can go on YouTube to help me do that and get better at that. And there's nothing on Twitch that will help me do that. The Duolingo channel had 3 people on it, 0 followers. And that discovery to me was the one that said, aha, this is a different ball game. I'm not playing the same game. I'm playing cricket. Everybody else is playing baseball. And there's only 9 of them on the field, right? There's only 18 guys playing baseball on Twitch. The rest of us are playing cricket. We don't know what we're doing. We're holding the bat wrong. We're throwing the ball the wrong way. We're in a field of trees as opposed to a field of dreams, right? It's madness to think. It really is. It's just like, whoa. So I think the answer again is to let Twitch be Twitch. It is a tool in the toolbox, just like Instagram, just like TikTok, just like YouTube, just like Twitter or Reddit or your Discord, whatever it is that is the driver for you, Twitch has to be part G, okay? It cannot be the primary instigator of anything. It's got to be secondary. It's got to be secondary. Because we will never, the way it's set up right now, you will never get there by going it through Twitch from the bottom up. You will never get there. It'll be a waste of your time. You will stop doing this because no one's going to find you. No one will find you. It's virtually impossible. It is so, I mean, if you think percentage-wise, the 2,300 views I have out of 9 million daily users on Twitch. Done. Right? Done. Got no shot, right? But 62% of America will go on YouTube. 2.3 billion worldwide will be on YouTube looking at subject matter, right? There's a guy in India looking to get his English better, right? And how does he do it on YouTube? The Spanish language channels, the Spanish language content creators are rocking it on YouTube. Okay? Europe rocking it on YouTube, even with the rules and the fines being levied. YouTube has success in Europe. The German streamers who are on YouTube creating content, I get to watch and learn my German and a little bit of my Czech and my Polish and my French because Duolingo gives me 6. I bought that package. So, the Chinese market, you know, is a completely different game of fish. And I can only imagine that great firewall for a Chinese watcher of all things around the world, not being able to do that, just looking for subject matter on tree growth in the Northwest or wanting to look at pictures of the Canadian Rockies, you know, from a sky cam, and he can't do it because of the Great Wall, you know, or whatever the restrictions are. He can't see it, or she can't see it, or she can't push out the aspects of her country that she would like to share, not the propaganda, but just the, you know, that personal perspective of life on a farm in China or life in the big city in China. They can't do it, you know, because the government says, oh, you can't have that out, or you can't see, you know, and to think that, you know, we have all this potentiality, but we do high school fights. That's the soul crushing piece. You know, that we just really don't understand the potential of all this stuff. This stuff is so incredibly cool. But, you know, the top streamers are doing high school fights and stuff and copyright infringement. It seems like such a waste. And I'm certain they all have these qualities that allow them to do this. And I'm certain they had a different concept. I want to believe that they all had a different concept when they started. That they wanted to do the big dream, not just, you know, chum. But again, that's me being an old man, looking at it from an old man's perspective, because I've seen it all, and no one wants to hear about an old man seeing it all. So, but anyway, 4 months streaming. Just wanted to make this Wednesday substantive and of value. And if you stuck around for the whole hour and 14 minutes, I want to say thank you. Cool. Go to my YouTube channel, hit like, hit subscribe over there, because that's all free. Doesn't cost you a thing. And, you know, it might help me get in, you know, a little rotation over there. But I leave you with this. I leave you with this concept. If we learn how to play the game we can be very good at playing it. Okay? So maybe the rest of us in this sub tier need to learn how to play our game. Okay? Not Twitch's game, but play our game. And Twitch is just another tool in the toolbox. All right? So you know where we're going, right? Where do we always go? If I can get it up. Oh, we got the wrong mouse. And there we go. You guys be good out there. It's cold. You know, if somebody's standing on the curb with a sign tonight, stick that buck in the cup. Help them out. Help them out. It's brutal out there. People stuck in the snow. We still got Tonga. And again, you know, it's Wednesday. Don't subscribe to anybody. Give $5 to Red Cross. Give $5 to your savings account. Okay? We can do the subscriptions other days. They'll be there. Trust me. I just outlined why they'll be there. So $5 to Red Cross, $5 to your savings. And with that, be careful, be safe, and peace.